Hello, hello, everyone. How are you doing? Hi, Maria. Right. Hi, my name is Alejandra Jasso, and I am your host for this series of classes, Bringing Wisdom to Life. And I'm very happy that we are halfway through the year. Has been amazing journey since we started in January, just with the idea of creating this series of classes. So thank you all for being here. I am super excited and honored to introduce Eva Balzer. She is one of the ACI teachers in the DACH region in Germany. She's also DCI organizer. She has an amazing company, Diamond Management. I hope I said it correctly. And something that is very interesting for me, and I hope I will have the seeds to replicate, is that her daughters study ACI courses. So she's a great example for all of those who are parents. So thank you, Eva, for being here. And also, I want to say that she just finished a month retreat at Diamond Mountain. So I'm not sure it will be your first class since you finished your retreat, but thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you very much, Ali. Okay, you want me to get going?
Yes, please.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Very nice to see you all. I'm very happy to be here and share my experiences with parenting. Thank you, translators. I'm normally very fast. I will try my best. When I met the ACI teachings, my daughter was about 3 years old. Now she is 15, and she has indeed finished 8 ACI courses. And when I go to retreat to Diamond Mountain, it's my second 4-week retreat. She says, go get enlightened. So I can actually go. And that's very beautiful because she understands what I'm doing. I thought I share a picture so you know. So that's her. Can you see her? Good. So that's her with 15 and the other with, I don't know, 4 or 5. So that's Emma. I brought you 8 or 9 charts with different ideas. And then I hope we have some time to discuss these ideas and also to, if you have any questions, because I have actually helped a lot of parents. So if you have something that makes you really unhappy at the moment, please let me know. Okay, so let's go. I have a couple of charts to make it a bit more explicit. So. Okay. This is our idea of parenting. Parents lead children, right? That's what we think. That's how we behave. We know best. We tell them what's right or wrong. We guide them in this world. And I'm not saying that's not true. But what my thesis I want to share with you is that when you know about this geezer here, this thing, you know, things look a little bit different. And it's not as straightforward and not as simple as you thought. So for me, the pen thing has actually made me question a lot of traditional ideas about parenting. And I want to share them with you. So I hope you know about this thing. We call it the thing with a pen. And you will all hopefully know, if not, let us know, that what we are saying is that the world is coming from you. So everything you experiences comes from you. That includes our children, right? And that changes a lot of things. And I will keep on coming back to this point. Do you know this lady? Parents will know, right? Okay, I see a nod. So this is the mother of Rapunzel. And this picture shows her singing a song where she says, "Mother knows best," right? And that's what we think. We do think mother knows best. And we know from her, it's not true, because she's just keeping the poor girl imprisoned to have a long life. And I really do believe that when we look at parenting from a pen perspective, we have to question a couple of assumptions that we have about parenting and how we behave, because perhaps we don't always know best, right? I do want to question that. I am not saying we shouldn't lead our children. I'm not saying sometimes we have to make decisions and guide them. It's more like a general attitude and how you behave towards children that I think makes a difference. The presentation I have prepared for you is mainly for parents, so I don't know whether there are any children here. If you have any questions, please also let me know. I also talk to a lot of children, but this is mainly for the old guys, for the parents. Okay, I have two issues I want to cover, which I think are crucial when we talk about parenting. The one is the side of the parents. How can I become a happy parent and have a happy family life? And then the other side is, how can I make my child happy? Or how can I help my child when it's not happy? Because that makes us unhappy, right? So this presentation has two parts. The first one, is, how can we be happy as parents? Because happy parents, I tell you, make happy children. I'm pretty sure about that. So let's see. 3 points, I think, on this. I have this first. So, man, can children trigger you? You know it, I know it, right? They are just perfect to trigger you because you know them so well, and because you're so close, and because when they are small, you are happy if you can go to the toilet alone. It's tough, right? I mean, they are potentially little terrorists, and it is a question of survival sometimes when you deal with them. So I understand why we do get upset. I'm just going to stop sharing this. So I think you have this picture in mind, and then I can see you, which makes me happy, because then I can, yay, good stuff. Okay. So every one of us gets extremely triggered with children, and that's okay. And I remember I had this situation with Emma when she was going to the kindergarten, and it was a nightmare. Every single morning, we had a big fight because it just wouldn't work. She wasn't ready. She wasn't dressed. We never got out on time. It was very painful for me. And then I heard an ACI teaching on anger, and I heard that it destroys all the root of virtue. I went like, oh, damn, how can I not get angry, right? I understand it's important, but, to do it is a different thing. We know that, right? So I think the two things to do here, that's what I did at least, was first just do what the scripture says. And the scripture says, stay lump as a log. Remember that in an ACI course? Yeah. Don't move. Just don't shout back. And I remember I was in this situation and I was just going to complain, you know, get going in this discussion. And I went like, and I just shut up and left the room. And then I sat on my cushion. I took a couple of breaths. And I went like, damn, why does this trigger me so much? You know, because I felt ignored and not taken seriously. And I didn't like it. And then I came back. And I really did say, I'm sorry. And that's something that changes parenting already, because normally you, I don't know, want to keep your authority. And I said, I am really sorry I shouted at you. It's just, this thing drives me bananas. This morning situation just drives me crazy. Can we please find a solution? And then it was amazing. I mean, she was, I don't know, kindergarten, 3, 4, 5. And she said, yeah, that's true. But you see, in the mornings, I need some time until I get going. So I'd rather get up earlier. And if you push me, that pushes all my buttons. And then we get into a fight. So with 4 years, my child was able to explain to me what the problem was. And I said, what can we do? And she said, well, why don't you try leaving me some space and I will try to, you know, be there on time. And that worked. It did work most of the times, not every day, but, you know, 90%. And that was a big relief. And the good thing about this also is that this way she learned anger management, because children copy you, right? So years later, I would have a fight with her, because that still happens, right? Or a little argument. And she would be like, stop, don't talk to me. I'm excited. If I talk to you now, I'm going to plant bad seeds. So can you please come back in 5 minutes? And then let's talk later. And then are we able to find a solution? She told me, right? So by getting out of the fight, just not getting into it, withdrawing, remembering the pen, going back and finding a solution, I not only created solutions, but I also told my child to work with her anger. And that's a great thing, because we really don't fight anymore, almost. Seriously, 100% is not possible, but really we have a very harmonic time together. So just remember that, please, right? And personally, I feel you can talk to your children however little they are, and you can take them seriously. And Emma has taught me a lot, because I asked. And that already scratches the mom knows best thing, right? The parents knows best. Because I went to her to ask her for help. And it worked for me a lot. The other point I wanted to make on this chart is the aspect of don't complain. Because as they can trigger you, sometimes you look at them and you want to complain about how they are. For example, Emma is not really the most active child, you know. And I would like say, why don't you do this sport? Why don't you do this? Try some ballet, try this, you know. And I would get a no every single time. I just couldn't get her out of the house into kind of activities. Now, the thing is, a friend of mine said, "You are funny. Do you actually have any hobbies?" And I went like, to be honest, no, not really. I work a lot. And he said, duh. So I seriously thought, well, what is it that I could like? And I had to think about it for a while because I didn't know what free time was and what to do with it. And then I realized I like dancing and I love swing music. And I realized you can do that everywhere now. So I registered for dance classes, which was painful for me because I had to take time off work. But I did it, and I did it very consciously to plant the seeds that my daughter would find a hobby that she would be passionate about. Very clear. And so I went dancing. I registered for a fitness club. I did more yoga. And, you know, a couple of months later, she found her passion for piano playing. She started to play handball, which she really liked. And she does yoga at home with me. So the point I'm making is, if this is true, then what you see in your child is just simply how you are. It's a mirror. So instead of complaining, which pretends that there's a self-existing child out there, I recommend to change yourself, which is how we work in this system. It's just unusual with children, right? We're not really used to it. So I can only tell you, it really works, you know. If your child doesn't want to do homework, or if it's not tidy, you have an area in your life where you're not tidying up. If they, I don't know, are loud, then watch your speech and have more friendly speech. I mean, it's equal, you know, it's basically you have to be a detective and see, why do I have to see this? And then you change yourself. And then a miracle happens and your child changes. It really does. So that's really cool. That's my advice on getting upset and complaining, which I think is an issue. Okay, my next chart. I'll tell you something about it first, then I'll show you. I have a practical advice. I don't know about you. I find myself in the kitchen alone with a lot of work, being really upset about it, right? And I go like, oh, damn, no one's helping me. You know, everyone's doing something else. Why do I have to be in the kitchen alone? It's always me who has to do all the work. La, 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 la. And remember, I always remember then that once seeds come out of the ground, you cannot push them down. They have to open. So when you sit in the kitchen alone and you have no help, then it's time to plant seeds. It's not, for me, it's always then, it's not harvesting day. It's not a day where I get the results. Today I plant. And the chart that I have for you, I call this, get your accounting correctly, get your accounting right. And I mean that you have two choices when you stand in that kitchen. You can either be a real victim and really complain about everything, be unhappy about the help you don't have, which obviously is a bad idea, or you can turn it around. You can decide, okay, I don't have the seeds right now, but I could do the kitchen now and dedicate, put on the radio, this is what I do, get you loud music, decide this is going to be fun, make it fun, and then dedicate the good seeds that you're planting to all mums and dads who are standing alone in kitchens, and to everyone who feels they're not getting enough help. That's a choice you have. So once you have to do the kitchen anyway, because you have to do the kitchen anyway. When you have to do it anyway, why don't you book it under the right accounting? You know, you can put it on the negative side by whinging, or you can put it on the positive side and plant good seeds for the future, because you know the result must come around, and it does. For me, it has actually had amazing results. Often Emma actually does the cooking because I'm so busy, and then, or she does the washing up. I have a new partner who loves to cook and to clean the kitchen. I don't do anything in the kitchen anymore. I went on a retreat 4 weeks where food was delivered to my place every single day. And I loved it. Every single day. I didn't have to cook because I don't like cooking. So my advice is, I know it's hard, but I always have this mantra: if I'm angry or complaining, I'm wrong. And then I go like, oh yeah, right. And then I think about it, and then I remember, okay, I don't have the seeds for help now, but I can do the kitchen now for the sake of all moms and dads, and for all people who work alone. And then it's fun. So the motto here is get your accounting right. Once you have to do it anyway, you might as well be happy about it. Okay. Okay. Now, next chart, next idea. I consider this a very important thing. And perhaps for parents, particularly of small children, one of the most difficult ones. You have to make sure you keep your energy together. It's very important, because if you're knackered, if you're exhausted, you will forget this thing. Easy, like this. You don't have the nerves, you didn't get enough sleep, you're totally exhausted. And I think we have the responsibility as practitioners to take care of ourselves, because then our wisdom will flourish and we can do the right things. Mom knows best is something that some of us think, and that can lead to a situation where you think you have to take care of your child 24/7. But then you're dead. And then you're not the best source for your children. So I actually had childcare very early on. I mean, I was relatively old when I had Emma. I was 38. I had a life already. And I gave her away with 1 year to a kindergarten. Emma has the most amazing karma for people who take care of her. And that has the consequence that I was relaxed when she came back. And when she came back, she had me 100%. And I thought it was better than she has me all the time, only 50%, which is not good for her and it's not good for me. So sometimes we have to let go and trust that our child will have the good seeds that other people will tell him or her precisely what they need. I remember that I was trying to teach her how to brush her teeth. God, was it a fight. She just wouldn't do it. And then one day I see her in the bathroom. And I'm like, what are you doing? She went like, yeah, we're doing this in kindergarten. Look, I could have never managed to get this into her. And then through the group, we don't always know best. That's what I'm saying. And it's important that we take care of ourselves. So we're always fit to remember the pen, because damn will we need the pen to raise children. We need that wisdom. And to have that wisdom, we need some sleep and we need energy. So I really wanted to make that point. Let go of the perfectionist. He's not our friend anyway in the Dharma. We want to be perfect, but we don't get there by being a perfectionist. So I wanted to make that. Okay. Yay. Okay. That we say that everything around us is a result of how we treated other people in the past. And that in ACI 1, I think, is a very famous quote of Lord Buddha, who says, only me or someone like me can judge another person. If you try, you will fall. That means into the hell realms. You might remember that. So we don't know who the other people are. We never do. We cannot judge them when they make mistakes. Second husband, we know about his guy. But we also don't know whether they might be holy beings. We don't. I cannot prove this to you, but you can also not prove to me that they're not. And the question is, what is more fun and what might help me most? And that's the whole concept of the Home Lama. Just get this off. He's beautiful. Then again. So the idea of the Home Lama is that perhaps our child is a very special person. Perhaps our child is a holy being that came to me to help me. If I think that not only changes the seeds I plant, because I'm doing things for a high karmic object, and then my seeds are just going to go total crazy, it also changes the relationship between you and your child. I have tried to see Emma that way. Does that work every day? Hell no, it doesn't, right? I'm not saying it works every day, but it works often, and I keep reminding myself. And then she says crazy things. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sometimes she says things like, So I think just to play around with the idea that when your child stands screaming in your room and accuses you or hits you even, or doesn't want to clean up her room, the real question is, what is she trying to tell me? What is she trying to help me with? Perhaps I have an issue with anger. And with that attitude, you create a very beautiful relationship. A very beautiful relationship. And again, that's not traditional parenting, right? Where the parent is the boss and the child is at the receiving end. You turn it around on its head. Perhaps the child knows best, and I know nothing. Now, obviously, if they're small, you still lead them, you still tell them when they are put themselves in danger because perhaps they want you to. I'm not saying it's a laissez-faire thing and they can do whatever they want. It's an attitude. And that really changes the relationship. It makes, I think it's very beautiful. And you wonder who is teaching whom. It really turns around the relationship. Also, I think it plants seeds for equanimity, which I think are very beautiful seeds, because parent-child is a hierarchical relationship. Now, to treat your child as holy, or to see it as holy or as special and as knowing best, is a very unusual thing to do. And that plants seeds for equanimity. And that plants seeds for seeing a whole world of equality and people being treated equally. And I just realized that when I prepared this. So I think it's worth a try. Okay, so we have some time for questions. I move on and I have the second part. So, how to have happy children and how can I help them to be happy? Because if I don't know about you, but if you see your child suffer, that's one of the worst things. It's really painful. And then you want to help. And then you might talk. But we know that talking doesn't always help. So I have 2 tips for you, which I wanted to share. First, skillful means. Skillful means you might know, Geshe-la sometimes tells the story about this kid. I think it was an autistic kid. And it really couldn't do anything. And he said to the parents, give the child a present in their hands, push the wheelchair to another chair, push the arms of the child towards the other child, and let them hand over a present. It's not a path of karma. The child hasn't bought it or has the intention, but it does plant seeds. So I want to tell you my story with skillful means. I have 2 stories. One is Emma was in the 4th class, and in Germany, you then go to the 5th class, which is high school, kind of a different school system. And she's shy, and she was really nervous. And I said, look, you are now in 4th class. You can take care of the 1st grade children. And if you do that, and you're happy about it, when you go to your new school, people will take care of you. And so she did. She always does these things. And then she did that change. And there was an amazing mentoring system at that school. She was extremely taken care of. It was a very smooth going into that. And she and I, we know that we planted that. She planted that. So that's one thing. And the other thing, which is quite amazing, is that when she was small, she actually had a sort of illness, which means that you don't grow. She could have been very small. And I talked to Venerable Sunam then, and she said, buy her a rabbit. So we are not into animals, really. We had cats. Buy her a baby rabbit. So it was a lot of money, right? But it was cheaper than a hormone therapy. So we bought that little rabbit. And Emma took care of this little animal. She fed it, she cleaned it. We didn't keep it for long. I think it was 8 months, and then we gave it to someone else. But she grew like this. She's now that much taller than me. All the issues are gone. And it was only because I did that. And that's skillful means. I mean, she knew what she was doing, but it would have worked without her knowing also. So get your child into a situation where they plant good seeds, basically. And that works greatly. Okay, that's skillful means. You can use skillful means. And the other great thing is Tonglen meditation. Because for me, when I see my child suffering, it's a terrible feeling and it makes me helpless. And obviously, when you feel helpless, it's not really helping anyone. And you should plant seeds for trust and these kind of things. But Tonglen has really helped me, because instead of staying with me, oh, I'm so helpless, I wish she was happy, and then I could actually push her, be happy, which obviously doesn't work. She taught me to leave myself, my egoistic, my self-centeredness, my unhappiness, focus on her, take the pain away, give her all her need, and that would help me and that would help her. So Tonglen for me is a miracle, a very wondrous, great tool. And by the way, if you're a parent, meditate. Really, it helps a lot. I know you think you have no time, and it's almost true. But if you can just take a child, push it into the hands of a grandpa or a father or a friend, say, I need 5 minutes. Do 5 minutes every day. Do 10 minutes if you can. Because that brings you back into, being over the water rather than swimming underwater. It gets you back into the driving seat. You can do Tonglen or anything else. It helps you, like this lady, to be really strong and stable in situations where the world is wild and heavy. Okay. So what else do we have? Oh yeah, one last thing. Oh, sorry, did the wrong thing, sorry. Okay, one last thing. Question. How do I teach my children about the pen? And if so, how? It's a very important question. And I can tell you, to have a child that understands the Dharma is the ultimate joy. It is so cool. But I would be extremely careful. As I said, Emma was 3. And I would just teach her by practicing myself. Because children, even conventionally, don't do what you tell them, they do what you do. So in any case, it's crucial to focus on your own practice and dedicate that to the child. Secondly, I don't give her information without her asking me, without her actually offering me the mandala. I did not act as a teacher if she didn't offer me a mandala, which would be for a 4-year-old to say, why did you give money to that man? And I don't know. Why did you walk out of the room without talking to me? We just had a great fight. I don't know. So I would only teach her when she asked me. Because, we are not supposed to missionize, tell other people and nag them. And it took many, many years. And then when she was 12, I said, are you interested in learning this stuff? And she said, let me think about this for a couple of days. And I said, that's okay. So 3 days later, she said, I think I want to study the ACI courses, right? So I make sure it's her decision. I don't push her. And I think it's very important not to be pushy, or if it doesn't work, go back to your own practice. You have to remember the pen. You have to control your anger. You have to stop complaining. If you do that, your child will automatically change. It must. Because of the laws of karma. Right. Finally, I have this chart. I'll tell you this story quickly so we have time for questions. I had a discussion with my dad. And my dad was complaining about me. And I went like, oh, go on then. I'm just such a good daughter, you know, I do so many things nicely. Why would you talk to me about the only thing I don't get organized? I'm not perfect, for God's sake. Why do you focus on the negative, on the thing I don't deliver, and you forget all the great things I do? Now I speak these words, they go here in my ear, and I go like, damn, this is precisely how I treat my child. I take everything for granted, all the miracles she does. And one thing doesn't go right, and I go on about it. And for me, that was a revelation. And that was really important for me. And since then, I've been trying to, you know, I realize she's not perfect because I'm not perfect. And if something doesn't go right, then that's how it is. And I always focus on the amazing things that she does, right? So perhaps that's something that you can help and you can also do. And it taught me that how I treat my children creates the rest of my world, because they are so amazingly high karmic objects. So if you have a problem at work, or with your partner, or with your parents, I recommend check what you do with your children. Because this is probably where it's coming from. My finding, most of the things that have been problematic actually come from not treating Emma the way I should. So I think having children is an amazing opportunity to do wonderful things for very holy beings. And if you can keep that up, this mindset, this idea, I think you will create a life in miracles, particularly in the family, but also everywhere else. So I would say I cut it here, and perhaps you want to say something, or as I said, if you have a problem, please let me know. I've solved a lot of problems karmically, children. So let me see, is there anything? Okay, there's a language I don't understand. Yes. I don't know, I cannot. Ali, do you want to try that?
Okay. Thank you, Eva, for your very inspirational experience and story. I have a question because I really have a very difficult relationship with my second son. He is addicted to game, and he tie him back all day in the room, and I really feel disconnected with him. So I try everything, but there's not much improvement. So what your advice for me, please?
Thank you for this question. It's a big issue. First, the obvious answer is you have to find where you are addicted to something. I'm sorry to tell you, but you know that, right? And it might be work or just being addicted that people like you or you get compliments, or it might be chocolate. You must have an issue somewhere with addiction to project the sun, right? Because if it was in the sun, both your sons would do that, and they don't. You just have one son, right? So I know this is painful, but it's perhaps your son is trying to teach you. Look, mom, where do you have that? You tried that? Really, I mean, it must be somewhere, and it's going to be small, right? It's not going to be so massive. You look for something small because seeds grow.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
I think that I'm addicted to the mobile phone because every second, every 10 seconds, I need to glance at it once.
There you go. And to glance at phone is not good for our spiritual development. We know that. My lamas, they took my phone away for 4 weeks. I was offline for 4 whole weeks. It's not easy, right? But it was good. So why don't you try to put the phone away, or like you look in the morning, in the afternoon, reduce. And then dedicate that. Be happy. Use the 4 steps. Be happy and dedicate that to your son. Talking will not help. Threatening will not help. They will do it secretly, right? But if you can do that, then you have it might take a couple of months. In the meantime, stay cool. Because you cannot change the present in the present. It's not possible. It's old seeds. So relax and plant seeds and change something in your own behavior. And that works 100%. It always does, which is the miracle of this guy. It's just so beautiful, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You could also help other children, or you could go to a self-help group where children have creative activities instead of watching their phones, or pay some money to an organization who helps. I just see Ute from Germany. She does creative painting. You can send all the children to a creative painting thing, not because that will help, but because of the seeds you plant in your mind. You help other children. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Eva, there is a question in the chat. How to gain trust of a foster child?
So I assume the situation is you have a foster child and there's no trust. So that means you're seeing someone who doesn't trust you, right? Or who doesn't have a close relationship to you. The first thing I would do is to watch around, look around, and see, where don't I trust other people? Like children, you can let them go and say, I trust you to do this. I have this acronym, my German friends know about this. It's called MDWW. And it means something like, Just do what you want, JDW, whatever, you make an acronym. So, and that means when I decide that my child should wear the yellow skirt because I think it's beautiful, I go like this. I said, MDVDB, you decide. I trust you. I trust you to make your own decisions. That has been very important for me, and it has created a lot of trust in me, in myself, and people trust me. Yeah, genau, you did not adopt, it lives with you, right? So I would plant trust, and you plant trust by giving trust. Let people find their own way, like children. Or with partners. We like to tell partners where to put their socks. You know, perhaps you don't. And you say, I trust you to make the right decisions on where to put your bloody socks. And then you dedicate that to your foster child. So you don't plant with the foster child, you plant with other people. And you trust them, something like that, right? And that will not only mean that the foster child comes closer, but also that you trust in yourself more, which is very valuable. Let me just think whether I can think of anything else. What's in the and where in your life are people who are trying to be close to you and you push them away? There will be someone in your life, a mother, perhaps. Sometimes we have bad relationships with parents, or as someone who works for you, or someone who wants something from you, and you go like this. Whenever in your mind you feel like towards a person, you go like this, and you feel your child does the same, then change your behavior towards that person, and then the child will be open to you. That would be my advice.
Thank you. There is another question. It's in Chinese, but I used Google Translate. They have problems with their son and girls. My two sons are both troubled because of girls. One son even had a lawsuit because of a girl.
So they're grown up, they're bigger sons, right?
I guess teenagers.
Teenagers, okay. And is the problem, I don't understand the problem with the girls. I mean, girls, okay, but I understand lawsuit. Perhaps you can specify. They get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
I mean, lawsuit or any kind of trouble, for me is virtue number 6. Remember the 10 virtues? Yay. ACI 5, how karma works. We know about all these correlations. And if someone criticizes you, which in an extended form is someone sues you with a lawsuit, then for me that means because you criticized other people. Yay. And we do that all the time, right? I mean, it's very hard. But I think it might be something you might want to watch how you speak. Whether you criticize other people, your children, which is, as I explained, is a bad idea anyway, but we do, right? So don't criticize other people, understand where they're coming from. and don't speak harshly, because I think those seeds, when they grow, turn into trouble and fights and lawsuits. If there's not anything else coming to that question.
Nope. There is another question in Vietnamese. I use Google Translated again. Apologize. How to gain trust of an adopted child. Is very similar as
Yeah, we
the
just had
previous
that,
one.
the adopted
Mhm.
child, adopted or foster child. I think that's the same.
Foster child.
Your boys will be safe, you know. Yeah, this was her translation, yeah. Okay, anything else? There we go. Oh, well, hang on. How can we help them with becoming responsible young people who can manage themselves financially? How can I help them to be grateful? How can I refrain from criticizing her and speaking hardly to her? Good point. Nice. Shall I just go for those, Ali? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How can you create young, responsible people? That's going to be so easy. Speak it with me. Be responsible yourself. It's, you know, and financially, you plan virtue number 2. You're just being generous. The perfection of giving. Work on the perfection of giving. And then you're going to be fine. That's an automatism. If they don't do that at the moment, then you have to check where you don't deal with money properly at the moment. Give it to ACI. Seriously, I mean, to meditate, I give money to Diamond Mountain every month. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the seeds for it. So, okay, how can I help them to be grateful? Sorry, speak it with me. Be grateful, right? It is that simple. Be grateful, turn it around. I mean, there's so many, it's so crazy. There's so many miracles around us. And we just focus on the one thing that gets on our nerves. It's where we're behaving like crazy people. I mean, I was sitting in a plane and I went like, God, I'm sitting in this iron box in the air, flying. I mean, seriously, it's a miracle. My daughter is a miracle in every way, but I didn't see that for a while. You have to look for the miracles and, you know, do the gratitude meditations and just look for things you can be grateful for, and they will be grateful. Dedicate to the child every night, and they will be angels. How can I refrain from criticizing her? It's a very good question. The point is we have to understand that we cannot change ourselves just because we want to. Because we are coming out of seeds, right? 24 per second, 65 per second. So just by saying, I don't want to criticize her, it's not going to work. But what we do is we use the wisdom. We have the wisdom. And the wisdom, the old scriptures say, you try. You try, because every time you try, you plant a seed for a new habit. Automatically. It's what we call the flower number 2 in DCI. Right? But it's in the old scriptures also. So you try and you fail. Then you don't criticize yourself for failing, but you praise yourself for trying. Next time, you're better, but you still fail. You don't criticize yourself for failing, you praise yourself for trying. And then you establish a new routine, a new habit. And after a while, you will not think of criticizing your child. You have to be patient with yourself, because you cannot wish you were someone else. We plant seeds, and that takes some time. Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and be happy all the time. Because we have the Dharma in our life, and that's the most beautiful, amazing thing that we can have. It's you must all be angels to have this knowledge. It's not gonna get any better, right? The rest is just trying and having patience. So don't forget that. Just be grateful and happy and try, and the rest will come automatically, because we know how seeds and karma work. So I don't know, my time's up. I don't know, I see some 2 more questions. You have to decide how to deal with this.
Okay. Okay, Eva, my question again for you. Can you elaborate more on your idea that we should be very careful when teaching our children about DCI knowledge?
Well, the problem is if you teach the pen and they reject it, they plant very bad seeds. And you do, because you push them. So it's like Taming the Dragon, that famous movie. Nice. Taming the Dragon. So you give them a little crumb and you see whether they pick it up. And then if you can, Geshe-la always says, if you can, take them higher. If there's resistance, don't bloody push. Back off. Right? It's very important, because they will plant bad seeds and you will plant bad seeds. So it must come from seeds. You cannot push it. So just be careful.
Okay, thank you. Understand.
Thank you so much, Eva, for this amazing class. I believe all of us, we are not a we. You are so wise. Please come back and keep teaching us. Maybe we can have a second class about this topic, because it's something that all of us, we need. If we have children, or we don't, we have little humans around us all the time. So what you teach us today is very, very powerful. So thank you very much for being here. I would like to respect the translators and the tech team time and your time. So let's wrap up the class. Thank you so much again for being here, for being with us, for want to be an ACI teacher. We need more teachers to spread these teachings. And thank you all for being here, for wanting to learn more about how we can apply the wisdom in every aspect in our lives. Please come back. We have a monthly sessions. The next one will be in July. Stay tuned in the Telegram chats and in the online platform, where you will see our next teacher guest and topic. Thank you.
Thank you so
Eva,
much.
would you like to say something else?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for the translators. I tried my best. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, ACI. Let's practice and make the world a happy place. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.